eerily empty. They tiptoed out of their room and found the front door unlocked. It was the first time in weeks they felt air on their faces. Samira whispered, "Should we run?" Amira hesitated, then nodded. They ran barefoot, down the street, past the bakery, to the one person who ever smiled at them, Nana Ife. She opened the door and gasped. Their faces were pale, hands bruised, feet bleeding, hair matted, and yet they smiled. "Can we sit here for a little while?" Amira asked softly. Nana didn't say a word. She just opened her arms and held them. What Yahya didn't know was that his biggest mistake wasn't the cruelty, it was letting them go. Fatima arrived the same evening with police. Photos were taken, statements recorded, and when they went to Yahya's house, he was gone, vanished, left behind only grease stains on the table and an envelope with one sentence. "You deal with them then. I'm done." But Nana wasn't done. Fatima wasn't done. And the girls? They were just beginning to find their voices. "Some wounds don't bleed, they whisper." The twins were safe, but they still didn't speak unless spoken to. Even the sound of a creaking door made them flinch, and when Fatima gently asked, "Do you want to tell me what happened?" Amira simply looked down and said, "He told us if we ever talked, Mom would die again." For the first week at Nana Ife's house, the girls barely ate. They woke up at night screaming but never remembered the dreams. Samira started hiding her food in pillowcases, just in case it was taken away. Amira refused to look in mirrors, saying, "They might be watching. Trauma doesn't wear shoes. It doesn't knock. It just sits quietly behind the eyes of a child." Fatima knew they needed more than food and a bed. She arranged for them to see a trauma therapist, Miss Ladi, a calm, patient woman who had worked with abuse victims before. Her first session was short. She placed 2 dolls on the floor, a big one and a small one. "This one is you," she said softly, handing one to Samira. "And this one is anyone you want to talk about." Samira didn't respond, but she took the doll and broke its arm. Meanwhile, Yahya hadn't disappeared. He had plans. Somewhere in a small garage on the edge of a nearby town, Yahya sat under a broken fan, watching the news on a cracked phone screen, when a local station ran a segment titled, "Abandoned Twins, Rescued from Alleged Abuse," featuring a blurry picture of Nana Ife holding the girls. Yahya's lip curled. "She always thought she was better than me," he muttered. Then he laughed and pulled out a folder from an old drawer. Inside, a copy of Halima's will, a hospital autopsy report, and a small photo of the twins as babies with their mother. Yahya wasn't just angry. He was hiding something tied to why Halima really died. Back at the city's social services office, Fatima reviewed the twins' file again. Something didn't add up. The police had recorded Halima's car crash as accidental, but there were no brake marks on the road. No toxicology tests were ever performed, and Yahya had claimed the body within an hour of the crash. Who gets a call about a death and is ready to collect the body in less than an hour? Fatima flagged the file for reinvestigation, but there was more. Nana Ife sat with the twins one evening, brushing their hair gently. "Your mother, she was my student once," she said softly. "She used to wear green ribbons in her braids and said she wanted to be a pilot." Amira looked up. "Did she ever talk about Uncle Yahya?" Nana paused. "She avoided the subject, but once she told me this. Sometimes the people closest to you want your wings to break." The girls didn't speak, but they didn't need to. They knew exactly what that felt like. 3 days later, Fatima received an anonymous envelope at her office. No name, no return address. Inside were just 4 words. "Ask where the brakes went." It was typed. Plain. chilling. Fatima's eyes widened. She pulled Halima's car report again, and that's when she saw it. The vehicle's brakes had been replaced 2 days before the crash, but not by a registered mechanic. No invoice, no paperwork, just a name scribbled in pencil on a side note. Y. Musa, personal repair. Yahya Musa, Halima's brother. Fatima took the file straight to her supervisor. "This wasn't an accident," she said. "I think Halima was murdered, and he used the girls as a cover." "Why would he do that?" her boss asked. Fatima answered without flinching. "Because there's an inheritance, and he wanted full control." Back at Nana's house, the twins were beginning to recover. Samira started drawing again. Amira helped Nana bake banana bread. They laughed a little. But nights were still heavy, and Yahya wasn't done. One morning, a letter arrived at Nana's door. No stamp, just placed by hand. Inside, "Give me the girls, or what happened to Halima will happen to you too." Nana froze. Her hands shook as she dialed Fatima's number. When the police arrived, they confirmed Yahya's fingerprints on the note. A protective order was filed. Security was increased. But something else arrived the next day. A child services official showed up at Nana's house with a strange expression. "I need to speak with you. Urgently." She explained that a man claiming to be the girl's biological father had filed for custody. His name? Abdul Karim Usman. But Halima had always said their father vanished. He never answered letters, never sent a dime, never came back. Fatima immediately investigated. Abdul Karim was real, but he had been living in Ghana, completely unaware Halima had died or that the twins were in danger. He had written letters, dozens, but Yahya had blocked them. He had tried to return once but was turned away by Halima's protective brother. The man was weeping when Fatima called him. "You mean, my daughters are alive, and I never even got to bury her?" The girls didn't know they had a father, and now he was coming. But would they believe him? Fatima and Nana agreed to take it slowly. They sat the girls down, gently. "There's someone who wants to meet you," Fatima said. Amira blinked. "Who?" "A man who says he's your real father." The girls went quiet. Then Samira said, "Uncle Yahya said our father was a ghost." Amira added that he left because we weren't worth staying for. Nana held their hands tightly. "That was a lie, my loves. He tried, and he's still trying." When Abdul Karim finally arrived, he didn't come with lawyers or gifts. He came with only a photo, an old picture of Halima holding 2 babies, both in pink shawls. He knelt down before the girls. "My name is Abdul Karim. I loved your mother, and I never left by choice. I was kept away." The girls stared, silent, but Samira stepped forward. She touched the photo, then looked up and whispered, "That's us." They didn't call him Baba right away, but they let him hug them, and that was enough. Fatima knew she had to move fast. With Yahya now connected to break tampering, abuse, and fraud, the court began the process to strip him of any custody rights and open a criminal investigation. But before the arrest order could be issued, Yahya disappeared again. He knew the walls were closing in, and he wasn't going down quietly, because Yahya had one more secret, a letter Halima wrote before her death, that could destroy him forever, and it was hidden, in the one place no one thought to look. The dead don't always rest, especially when their truth was buried with them. It was buried, not in the ground, but in the spine of an old photo album no one had opened in years, tucked inside the plastic sleeves, folded 4 times, and sealed in clear tape. A letter written in Halima's own hand. The title? "If Something Happens to Me." The letter was discovered by accident. Samira had asked Nana if one night, "Did Mama have pictures of us when we were small?" So Nana went to Halima's old storage box, one that Yahya never touched when taking the girls. And there, at the very back of a worn floral album, she found it. The letter that changed everything. She didn't read it right away. She called Fatima, and together, with Abdul Karim and the girls present, they opened it. If you're reading this, I didn't make it, and if you're holding my daughters, know this, they are everything good in me, everything soft and brave and innocent. I fear my brother, Yahya. He has changed. His heart is twisted by money and resentment. He once told me, "You got the life I deserved." I tried to keep him away. But I know if something happens to me suddenly, don't trust him with my girls. He asked to repair my car brakes himself last week. I said no. But he took the car while I was sleeping. I woke up and they were done. If I die, please check my car. Please don't let him raise my daughters. Halima. The room fell silent. Samira buried her face in her father's chest. Amira stared at the letter like it had unlocked a door in her heart. She knew, she whispered. She tried to warn us. Fatima stood slowly. This is it. This is what we needed. And for the first time since Halima's death, justice had a voice. But justice moves slower than pain, and Yahya had already made his next move. Late that night, under the cover of darkness, Yahya returned to the city. He didn't go home. He went to someone who owed him a favor, a former cellmate named Bako, a small-time thief with a mean streak. I need one thing, Yahya whispered. A distraction, something that will shake them. Bako leaned back. Kidnapping? Yahya smiled coldly. Not both. Just one. The next evening, Nana Ifi's power cut out. A sudden blackout in just her house. While she lit candles and called the repair line, two shadows approached the backyard. Samira had gone outside to feed the stray cat she named Little Mama. She didn't hear the footsteps behind her. She didn't scream. And by the time Nana called out, "Samira, dinner is ready," there was no answer. Fatima arrived in 10 minutes. Abdul Karim was pacing. Amira was crying in panic. "She wouldn't just go," she sobbed. "She never goes far." Fatima checked the locks, the cameras, the gate, and then she found it. A slip of paper tucked under a flower pot. One line, "Bring the will, or you'll never see her again." Yahya didn't just want the girls. He wanted the inheritance that Halima left behind. The one document that proved she left everything to her daughters, and nothing to him. Abdul Karim had the document. Halima had made a second will shortly after reconnecting with him by letter, one Yahya never knew about. In it, she had named him as the rightful guardian, and beneficiary only on behalf of the twins. Yahya's plan had been to control the girls and take everything through force and fake signatures. But with Abdul Karim back, his plan was collapsing. And now, he was desperate. Fatima coordinated with the police. A tracking team was set up. A decoy version of the will was prepared. Abdul Karim agreed to deliver the fake document, just to buy time. The exchange point? An old scrapyard on the edge of the city. At 9:30 p.m., Abdul Karim walked into the yard alone, carrying a small envelope. Yahya appeared from behind a wrecked car. "She's fine," he said coldly. "She's a quiet one, just like her mother was, before she got all high and mighty." Abdul Karim's jaw tightened. "You're sick." Yahya pointed at the envelope. "Let me see it." Abdul Karim tossed it forward. As Yahya bent to pick it up, officers burst out from behind the stacked tires and scrap metal. "Don't move!" He tried to run, but Bako, realizing the deal was over, dropped his weapon and fled, leaving Yahya cornered and screaming. "I did everything for them. I gave them a roof, and this is what I get?" He was dragged to the ground, kicking, cursing, spitting. And that's when Fatima stepped forward. She knelt beside him and said quietly, "Halima warned us, and now the world will know who you really are." Samira was found tied inside an abandoned car nearby, shaken, but safe. When she saw Amira again, she didn't speak. She just held her sister's hand tighter than ever before, and Amira whispered, "No more hiding, ever again." The case moved swiftly, with Halima's letter, the autopsy inconsistencies, Yahya's threats, and the kidnapping. The court charged him with premeditated murder, child abuse, kidnapping forgery, obstruction of justice. Yahya didn't get bail, and this time, no one defended him, but the scars he left behind would take longer to heal. Amira began writing in a journal. Samira stopped hiding food, and every night before bed, Abdul Karim would read them a page from Halima's old diary, the one she kept hidden from Yahya. It had stories of their baby years, photos, doodles, and notes like, "Amira likes to hum when she sleeps. Samira stares at the stars like she's waiting for someone to talk back." One night, Amira asked, "Daddy, will people ever know what he did to us?" He looked at her with warmth. "They will, because one day you'll tell it, and you won't whisper. You'll stand tall. When the voiceless speak, even the walls listen." When Amira entered the courtroom, she didn't feel like a little girl. She felt like a storm walking on two small feet. Her hand gripped Samira's tightly, and her heart whispered, "We're not hiding anymore." Across the room, Yahya sat in cuffs, still, silent, but his eyes screamed the same thing they always had. "How dare you stand against me?" It had been 3 months since the kidnapping, 3 months of therapy, of slow healing, of learning how to laugh again without guilt. And now, it was time to speak. Fatima sat beside them, along with Abdul Karim and their lawyer, a kind but fierce woman named Ms. Dede Ayula, known for defending children in abuse and custody cases. Judge Mukhtar presided, firm, sharp, a father of 4 daughters himself. The courtroom was packed, reporters, neighbors, even people from Halima's old neighborhood. Everyone wanted to see what justice would look like for the twins who never cried loud enough. Yahya pled not guilty to all charges. His defense claimed he disciplined the girls out of love, and that the will was a forgery. He even tried to claim Abdul Karim wasn't the real father, despite DNA tests proving otherwise. But lies don't breathe well under sunlight. The moment that shook the courtroom wasn't when the letter was read aloud. It was when Amira asked to take the stand. Gasps filled the room. Ms. Ayula stood and said, "Your Honor, the child insists. She says she's ready." Judge Mukhtar asked, "Are you sure, Amira?" Amira stood from her seat and walked with quiet strength to the front. "Yes, sir." She adjusted the microphone with shaking fingers. And then, she began. "My name is Amira. I'm 7. My sister is Samira. She's also 7, because we're twins." She smiled briefly. "When our mom died, Uncle Yahya took us in, but he didn't love us. He didn't even like us. He made us clean all day. He yelled a lot. He said we were nothing, that our mom ruined his life." One tear rolled down. "He hit Samira once when she broke a plate. Her lip bled. She didn't cry, but I did. And he said, if we ever told anyone, he'd make Mom disappear again." People in the courtroom wiped tears. Amira took a deep breath. "But you know what? Mom didn't disappear, because she wrote us a letter, and I want everyone to know. She tried to protect us." She looked Yahya dead in the eye. "You told me I was weak, but I'm not. I'm stronger than you now." Judge Mukhtar's gavel echoed softly. "Thank you, Amira. You've spoken with more courage than many adults I've seen in this room." Yahya's face remained cold, but under his breath, he muttered, "Ungrateful little—" The court officers heard him. He was warned again, but what no one expected was what came next. A woman stepped into the courtroom, late, nervous, holding a torn envelope. Fatima turned around and her jaw dropped. It was Halima's old neighbor, Auntie Zainab, and she held something that had never been entered into evidence. Zainab approached the bench and asked to submit a voice recording Halima had sent her, weeks before her death. The court allowed it. They played the recording. "Zainab, if anything happens to me, I need you to know. Yahya is not safe. He talks in his sleep. He talks about what he deserves, what I stole from him. He said once, if I don't give him a cut of the money, the brakes might just fail one day. I'm scared. I don't want to think he would do it, but I'm writing my will just in case. Promise me, if anything happens, take care of the girls, please." Silence. Not a breath moved in the room. Judge Mukhtar's voice cracked slightly when he finally spoke. That audio, combined with the letter and the testimony, is undeniable. The final blow came from the garage assistant where Yahya used to work. He came forward voluntarily. He testified that Yahya had once asked for help, removing brake fluid from a car without damaging the appearance. He refused, but Yahya had bragged later. "I did it myself. That woman won't be in my way much longer." With all the evidence, the verdict didn't take long. The jury returned in under 2 hours. Guilty on all counts. Yahya's sentence, life imprisonment with no parole. But even that didn't feel like enough, because nothing could bring Halima back. Nothing could erase the fear the girls lived with. But what could happen, and did, was this. They were finally free. The media ran with headlines. Twin girls brave. Courtroom to testify against abusive uncle. Justice for Halima. Hidden letter exposes family murder. Plot, 7-year-olds save themselves and their mother's legacy. At home, Abdul Karim held his daughters close. They called him Baba, now, not because they were told to, but because they chose to. Fatima visited them often. She helped